it is by a factor of 10 more fun to drive than a gasoline car. And we've driven a lot of them.
Welcome to the EVs with Kaz podcast. Each episode is a conversation with someone who drives an EV on a regular basis. Let's hear from today's guest. Hey everyone, welcome to the EVs with Kaz podcast. Today I have Sarah and Chad from Drive the Lightning all the way in Michigan. Hi Sarah and Chad.
Hi Kaz.
How you guys doing?
Good. We're thawing. It's been a very cold week or so, but we're thawing off. And then we'll get ready for the next cold front that comes in a few days. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, good luck to you guys. I'm glad you were okay, right? Didn't have any really horrible effects from that storm.
No, just snowed in for a couple of days, which gave us an excuse not to do anything, which is not a bad thing.
No complaints there.
Yeah, man, being snowed in is like such a foreign concept because I'm here in Southern California where we don't get snow. So that sounds nuts.
Yeah, it is. That's a good way to describe it.
So if you guys don't know, Drive the Lightning is a great YouTube channel. They cover electric vehicles like me. And Sarah and Chad have a Nissan Leaf. What year is your guys' Leaf?
2016.
Okay. And then what trim level do you guys have?
The SV, the 30 kilowatt SV.
Okay, nice. I just watched, I think it's your first video where you guys are talking about your Leaf. So what made you guys go electric?
Chad.
Okay. So, yeah, she blames me for the experiment. But
I had no interest in it, but he was determined.
It was time. We really needed a car. It was a situation where we were about to be carless, and we couldn't afford a big car payment for what we needed. And then I started doing the math, and I realized pretty quickly that for the amount of driving we do, it's almost a free car for us, offsetting what we were paying in gas. You know, not total zero, but we could afford a much better electric car used than we could a used gasoline car.
Yeah, for sure. That was part of my reason for getting a Leaf also. So what, I think you guys got that car a year ago. Is that right? Or about a year ago?
2.5 years now.
2.5 years.
2.5 years ago. Yep.
Okay. So what made you guys decide on that car instead of like a Bolt or something else?
Yeah. So, first, I sat on the couch and went to Carvana.com and was going to buy a BMW i3.
It was about 1 a.m.
About 1 a.m.
It was orange, which is my favorite color.
Orange
so he's like,
black.
what do you think of this? I'm like,
after, lots of research. But then I go ahead and I buy it and I go through the process and they want to verify my identity. And they asked me the year my house was built. And I had no idea. So I committed the ultimate sin and I guessed. And when you do that, if you're wrong, you get into some kind of 6-month, you can't buy anything on Carvana. So I'm already on the internet. I just started searching. I found a Nissan Leaf on Car Gurus or something, a state away. And I said, I'll just buy that. So I emailed the dealer, bought it. That was it.
Nice. Well, Carvana, you guys lost out on a sale of a BMW.
Yeah, that's okay. My mom went ahead and went to Carvana and bought herself a BMW i3. So we still have one in the family.
Yeah, so it worked out.
Nice. So how was your buying experience then with the Leaf?
Great. I mean, it was easy. I remember when we actually bought the Leaf, we were sitting on our front porch. It was a nice summer afternoon. And Chad said, we can go pick it up. It's close enough. And I'm just going to tell the guy I want it and buy it. And that's what we did. And then we the only scary thing was trying to get our car on its last leg down there to pick it up.
It's about 3.5 hour drive from here to pick up the vehicle.
Yeah. And we were trading in our old jalopy and we didn't know if it was actually going to get us to our new car or not. So
it was a 1904 Model T.
That's what it drove like.
To crank it up by hand and then 45 mile an hour, don't dare go 46. Nothing will blow up. It's HHR.
Yeah. So that was the only scary thing we got there. The one thing that was funny was when we arrived, he said, well, you guys want to take it for a test drive? And we both said, no. Why? We're here to buy it. Yeah, we already know what we want. We don't need to test drive it.
Need extra driving.
We're like, sign the papers. We got to get on the road.
We'd never driven an electric car before, ever.
Oh, wow.
Before we got in our Nissan Leaf and drove home, from Toledo, Ohio to Grand Rapids, where we're from in Michigan, which is about 3.5 hour drive.
Wow, that's brave of you. So did you do like a ton of research on EVs before getting the Leaf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brave's an interesting word. It's not the way I would describe it. And we thought we knew what we were doing, Kaz.
Yeah, we thought we'd done enough research.
So since we were experts, because we looked at the internet on all things EV charging, we just got on the highway and started coming home, not realizing that whatever range it says on the Nissan Leaf is a lie.
The gasometer.
It's an absolute lie. We got a guest appearance here, Kaz. I apologize.
Nice. No. I think we might have one at some point on my channel, on my side also. She's looking out the bathroom window at the moment, but she might come over.
That's Rugen, the studio cat on this end.
He's always, he wants to be involved. Anyway, so then the miles started tanking and we started panicking and we had no idea what to do. We've never charged an electric car. We knew, we had the apps downloaded, PlugShare app and ChargePoint. And so we identified one, we got off and we pulled up to plug it in and it was a CCS port. And the Leaf is CHAdeMO.
Yeah.
And so here we are, geniuses, all figured out. Sarah goes to plug it in and she's like, not going to happen. It's not going to go in there.
Like, what am I missing? This is bad.
Oh no.
So yeah, we were not ready. So we did find that in the same Electrify America bit, there was a CHAdeMO available. So it worked out. Yeah. But yeah, it was a trial by fire, not brave, just dumb.
Well, you guys made it home. Do you remember about how long it took you to get home? Or how many charges you had to do?
A couple of days.
So many hours.
Here we go again with this.
Yeah, we had, we left out of Toledo. We actually stopped. One of the most frustrating things.
Buddy.
We stopped.
We're talking Uncle Kaz.
Show off our new to us car to some friends in Southern Michigan. And they said, do you want to plug in while you're here? We were like, no, we're just going to be here for a minute. The trickle charge won't make any difference. And we knew there was a level 1 charger that was free a town over.
Level 2 charger, babe.
Level 2. I'm
Level
sorry.
2.
Yeah.
But we didn't know the difference between DC fast chargers and level 2 chargers. We just knew there was a charger 15 minutes from their house. So no problem. Sure. We're going to go. We're going to plug in. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But as you know, that's a pretty slow way to charge if you're trying to get home.
Right. Yeah.
If we had taken them up on it and plugged in while we were there, we had some grilled out and had dinner. It was just like, an hour or two. It could have made a big difference for us. Cause when we did get to that charger that was a few minutes away from them, someone was at it.
Oh, right. There was a bolt like yours. Maybe it was you.
Maybe it was
sitting
me
there blocking that thing for an hour.
Yeah.
And there wasn't another one that we could get to in the range. So we were just stuck waiting until it was till it left, and then we could start charging. And then it was so slow. It was
so slow. And then we're just sitting there. We're thinking, okay, the next charger's where? And it was about 60 miles away in Kalamazoo, Michigan, toward our house. So I'm trying to calculate. Well, we need to get another 40 miles in this or whatever it was. Again, not understanding how the gasometer works. Lies. And so then we do that. We get on the road and we're doing okay. We're taking kind of the back roads as opposed to the highway just to try to save some range. And then we come onto a detour. And we knew we had just enough to get there. Like, oh no. Yeah. And it took us about 12 miles out of the way. So we were sweating, on the.
Yeah, because now it's the height of summer. It's hot. And we were literally sweating because we turned off the air conditioning. We turned off anything. No radio. Don't use any accessories.
Yeah.
We got the windows, cracked because we don't want to mess with the aerodynamics by having the air pull it.
Yeah. I can relate.
So young. We were so young back then.
Oh, it was awful.
But then we got to that fast charger, which is fine. And that was 55 miles from our house. So we charged it up to whatever we needed. So we leave that fast charger, headed home on the highway, and the range starts tanking again because we don't know what we're doing. So we get off and we're taking the back way home now. And it's way late at night. But long story short, we pulled into our driveway with on the Nissan Leaf, eventually it won't tell you how many miles you have left. It's just a dash.
Dash.
So we dashed it into our driveway. And that was our very first ever EV driving, charging, horrifying experience. But we learned a lot.
That's quite an adventure for your first one. So were you ever discouraged on that first journey? Were you like, we made a mistake or we shouldn't have got this car?
I'll bet she was.
Well, I was coerced into getting it in the first place, but I
Ooh,
did
coerced.
understand.
That's a big word.
I understood the finances of it. We couldn't afford a car payment and gas money, so we had to have a trade-off. And it was a very nice car for us, so I liked that part. I was very anxious, but at that point we had made the commitment and the decision, so it was just, we just have to make this work. So let's just go forward, and it will be fine eventually. Our lives were never in danger. All we were losing was time, and everything was going to be fine.
Yeah. That's a great positive way to look at it, for sure.
Yeah. I never had any issues, Kaz. I was
was fun.
I was sold before I ever saw the car in person. It was just, I really, we're probably the only two people that say this. We love the Nissan Leaf. We love it. It's a great car for us. We would drive this thing forever. I may have the battery replaced someday and just keep going. It's just a cool little car for us.
Oh yeah. I liked my Leaf. I had two Leafs. I had a 2014 that I leased and then a 2017 that I leased. So it was the same car basically, just a little bit bigger battery for the 2017. But it was a really good car. It was comfortable. For me, the range was a little too small because I do gigs all around the city. So sometimes I'd have to do a lot of planning to make sure. But overall, like, I never had any problems with that car, minus quick battery degradation. But that's kind of on me because I live where I can't charge. And so I mostly had to do DC fast charging to get my electricity.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. But it's a good car.
It is. The first week or so till we got the level 2 home charger installed, we were hanging an extension cord out the window, plug it in with the Nissan charger.
We have a fast charger that's, I think, like 4 miles or 8 miles. I don't know. Close.
From where we live. Yeah.
From where we live.
Yeah.
So we knew we were going to be using that until we got our home charger. So, but yeah, we also knew the economy of charging at home was better. So yeah, extension cord out the window. But thankfully we had plans to get a charger installed because that was one of my requirements. When he was talking about getting an electric car, and I don't know about this, but I said, I don't want us in a situation where we're trickle charging with an extension cord out the window for 2.5 years because we can't afford to get a charger. So you make sure we can get a charger installed at home before we pull the trigger. And he did. So that was
if I wasn't married, Kaz, if I wasn't married, or I didn't, or if I didn't want to stay married,
cord out the window.
It would just be going out the kitchen window. I don't care. The neighbors can look at me funny when they drive by, but I'm lazy. She makes me a better man.
Oh, that's all good. Now, if you only did level 1 charging, would that be enough for your daily needs?
No, not really. That thing is so slow.
Yeah.
We would, no, it wouldn't be enough. But the level 2 charger usually is, we charge overnight and that's usually all we have to do.
Nice.
We drive 65, 70 miles a day, maybe. And then in the summer, we'll drive more, but we get much better range in the summer, like way better range in the summer in the Leaf. So yeah, it works out good.
Yeah. So, Chad sent me a picture, which I'll put up on the screen. And it looks like your guessometer has like 70 miles on it. Is that like the winter full range?
No, well, maybe. So that picture that I sent you is after driving on the highway. The last time we drove it before I started it this morning was on the highway all the way 70 miles an hour in 20-degree weather. So how the Nissan Leaf, it gets used to it as you go. So it's like, okay, that's how you're going to drive. This is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So no, most days when I boot it up, it'll say 100 or 90 or 90 something. But a lot of it just depends on how we drove last and what the weather was last.
Sure.
Right.
So, and you mentioned, and those of listeners and watchers that don't know the whole guessometer not being completely accurate, it'll say one thing and it's not always that. Do you know about what your actual average range is for your car?
Yeah, and again, it's completely different in the summer. We're getting about 100 miles still in the summer.
Okay.
I'm sure you heard that noise.
Yeah.
What are you? Okay, so
it's okay. We have a guest.
Sorry,
we have a guest now also.
Beautiful. Well, hi, Princess.
Beautiful. Yes, this is Winnie. Hi, Winnie.
Winnie.
Hello.
Winnie Koopa.
Oh, you're so pretty.
Oh man.
So those of you that are listening to the podcast in your car, make sure to check out the YouTube version if you want to see guests, feline guests on this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Or as we like to call them in the business, distractions.
Yeah. Okay. You're just gonna stay there.
A beautiful
Go
cat.
look out the window.
We have two in the studio right now, and they are at odds. So that's why you hear clanking and cluttering, because they're slapping stuff around, trying to get to or away from each other.
Sure. Yeah.
Your cat just behaves. Winnie's just a good cat.
She's good.
Aw.
She just, I think, wants attention, of course, right now.
Yeah.
Look
This
how
is-
long her tail is.
Yeah,
That is
really.
a crack up. It's like
Tail is
arm's
longer
length
than-
tail.
Well, I feel
Okay.
bad for whoever's just listening to this. They're missing out.
I know. Yeah, you guys got to watch.
Go to
YouTube.
YouTube. You're
Go to
missing all the
YouTube.
good stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Can't play with you right now. I'm working. Yeah, stay there. Okay, there you go.
So
Okay,
in the winter, we
sorry.
get closer to 75. That's how it's been going this winter,
Okay.
about 75 miles. So
That's not bad. And it looks like you have maybe 2 bars gone from your battery health.
second one just left. It
Okay.
just left. Yeah. So we'll see how that relates, when we get back to summer again.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Cool.
Yeah. We're happy.
I live here in basically the city. I'm not in a downtown area, but it's city. What kind of area do you guys live in?
It's like a suburb, like the northernmost suburb of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, Grand Rapids is the second biggest city in Michigan after Detroit. And
Okay.
we're on the west side of the state. Detroit's on the east side of the state.
Mhm.
And we are just north. You can see, like, from our roof, you can see the buildings downtown Grand Rapids. We're pretty close, but we're far enough away to where it's not hectic. So it's kind of we got sort of a nice suburban setup here.
Yeah,
Cool.
we do. In the summer and some in the winter, our favorite drive is just to go straight west and go out to Lake Michigan. So you take the highway out there, and there's fast chargers by the lake shore. So you drive out there, charge up, eat lunch, come home after
Okay.
we visited the lake. So that's one of our favorite.
Yeah, we live in a nice area. We're blessed here.
Mhm.
Cool. How's public charging around your area in general?
It's good. We have fast chargers just north of us, just east of us, and just southwest of us. Now, of course, we don't need them.
Right.
We never use them. But if you're ever coming through Grand Rapids, you can find a DC fast charger for sure. It pretty much circles the city. And then along the lake shore, our state government has this plan to make sure that all along the west coast of the lake, there's chargers, because that's a huge moneymaker for Michigan, is the tourism for the lakes.
Mhm.
So we're kind of blessed again, because then you can go all the way up around Lake Michigan, which is nice.
Cool.
Beautiful-
Yeah,
beautiful
That's
drive.
smart. Yeah, that's smart of them to do that. I feel like we need a little more of that just around the country in general, of places that are popular to have DC fast chargers.
For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The problem is some of them, the people who put them in, if they're privately owned, can charge whatever they want to charge.
Yeah.
So there's one town called Saugatuck on Lake Michigan. That's a real trendy tourist town, which we like to go to walk around.
Super fun.
But you're going to pay a lot of money to fast charge your car.
Oh.
It's really expensive.
Well, and it's in a really strategic place too, because if you commute between Chicago and Grand Rapids, you're going to
You're
need
gonna
to
need that.
charge in Saugatuck, and
Yeah, right.
you're going to pay for
You're
it.
going to pay for it. yeah.
Man,
But
that's a
it's
bummer.
okay.
Yeah. Do you remember what is it, like a charge point or
It's a charge point.
Mhm.
point?
Yep, it's a charge point, and it's owned by a art gallery that's right there. So they set their own rates.
Okay. Do you happen to know, at least for DC fast charging, what's kind of the more prominent company in your area?
In our area, it's ChargePoint.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting.
But if you go south of us an hour, it's Electrify America. You go to Detroit, they've got EV Go's that are broken, and they
Huh.
got some Electrify America. But and ChargePoint, they have kind of everything in Detroit. But yeah, but here in our area, for some reason, ChargePoint seems to be the ones that have gotten the hold of it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite here. ChargePoint's very rare.
Oh,
for
really?
DC fast charging, yeah.
Okay.
And I think now it's mostly Electrify America and EV Go.
EV Go, yeah.
Yeah.
We've only ever tried to charge once at an EV Go, and we were just leaving Detroit. We went to cover
The auto
the
show.
Detroit Auto Show,
Mhm.
and then we're coming back. We're in the BMW i3. We pull up to an EV Go, and I plugged it in, but it wouldn't start, and it wouldn't release.
Oh,
I couldn't start the charger, and I couldn't release the handle to go to another charger. So it was
So we were
really,
just stuck.
yeah. And
Oh, no.
not all of Detroit is a great place to be stuck.
Mhm.
And this was one of those where you don't want to be stuck too long. So we eventually was able to just pull hard enough or whatever. I don't know what it was, but so that's all I know about EV Go is that 100% of the times we tried to use them, they were broke. Now that's
Oh, no.
not meant to be a knock. It's just our experience, real life
Sure.
experience.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that's a bummer. Well, I'm glad you guys were okay after that.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah.
Once again, we survived.
Yes, we survived. Let me back up just a little bit. And you guys mentioned, you have a level 2 charger where you live. How was the installation process for that?
Fantastic. It was great. We, was it Consumers Energy?
Yeah, our electric company is
Electric
called
company?
Consumers Electric here.
Yeah. So Consumers Electric, they have a list of approved chargers and they will give you a huge credit if you use get one of their chargers installed. So we paid for it. And then there was something on the installation we got too.
Right. So they gave us a check for $500, just a rebate. Our power company did for buying the juice box. We could have bought the ChargePoint Flex. All the main level 2 chargers are on their list of approved ones. But also we were able to get a credit for the installation because we had to have it done by an electrician, but we got like a tax break that almost completely offset the installation.
Wow.
So it wasn't completely a free level 2 charger, but it was really close. I think we probably spent $100 total out of our pocket when it was done.
Wow.
It was done in a day. No big deal. It was done, then inspected, and that's it. Never had any issues.
Yeah. And it was important for us when Chad did the research because we don't have a garage. And with our weather, we get rain and we get snow and we get ice and scorching heat in the middle of summer.
So what fun would the garage be?
The bad stuff.
Yeah.
So we needed to make sure that, because I'm like, well, electricity, how's that going to do if it gets icy and snowy and rainy? Is that going to be an issue? But this one was rated for outdoor installation and we have never had a problem.
Yeah, it's hardwired right into our breaker box. And I think I might have sent you a picture with icicles or snow hanging off it. I mean, that's just our every morning deal. And it's fun.
Once in a while, you got to chip away the ice to actually
or the button won't push.
it.
Your J1772, you couldn't push the button once because it was iced completely over. But I just hit it hard enough.
The same thing happens with our screen doors here in Michigan.
They freeze.
They freeze up, and our door handles on our cars do the same thing.
Poor Kaz. I think his head's going to explode. He's like, why
new.
do you live there? Why would anybody live like that ever?
Yeah.
It's a fair question.
It's beautiful here. Trust me.
No,
it's too hot, and then it's too cold, and that's it. And we love it like that. It's
Snow is pretty foreign. I've actually only been in snow like 2 or 3 times in my life.
Wow.
And like one of those times was in Japan, actually, not even here.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So you probably love it because it's very charming. Like
right.
once.
Yeah. To visit, it's great. I don't know if I would be able to live in a place like that. I'm sure, you adapt, but it would definitely be a shock for a while. Yeah.
You get up every morning, you got to spend 20 minutes just getting the snow and ice off of your car before you can even open the doors. And then sometimes the doors are frozen.
Yeah.
And so you can't even.
Not to mention when we're in winter, our days, we get like 5 hours of daylight.
Yeah.
So it's pitch dark when you're out there and everything's, if anything thawed during the day, it's all frozen over again. When you're walking treacherously out to scrape off your car, everything takes 2 hours longer than it should.
You should move over here. You would like it.
it.
You would like it up here.
It's delightful.
It'd be perfect for you, Kat. The cat would love it. You would love it. It'd be great.
I know here when it gets cold, which is like 40 degrees, my car my car DC fast charges pretty slow. I actually don't really know if the level 2 charging speed is affected. Have you noticed charge times differing once it gets cold over there?
Well, with the level 2, we don't notice because we plug in at night and I don't think about it. I've got it set up between certain hours of the night when electricity is cheaper. But as far as DC fast charging, the Leaf charges slow anyway. I think it was set for like a max 50 kilowatts or whatever an hour. But every time I plug this thing in, it starts out about 40 and it goes whoosh, dips immediately to 30. And that's about how fast our Leaf charges year round. About 30, what is it, kilowatts an hour? Is that what it would be?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just a slow charging, but it's fast enough because the battery is small enough to where we're never going to be there too terrible long.
Right.
But it is not a car that charges fast.
Yeah.
It's not a travel vehicle. We don't do, like he said, when
we do
went
some road
just
trips.
going across the street or across the state to Michigan, we took his mom's i3 that has a range extender because it's much more reasonable to travel. Otherwise, we're stopping every 50 miles to charge the Leaf, which takes
Which
forever.
we've done. It's fine.
Yeah. If you're not in a rush, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
At our age, you got to stop and use the bathroom anyway, Kaz. You'll find this out. I don't want to ruin it for you totally, but you have to stop every 50 or 60 miles for a specific purpose anyway. So,
and that's a good, I mean, these days, companies are doing longer and longer range. And I think people who have gas cars who either aren't interested in EVs or kind of poo-pooing EVs want, 500-600 miles of range, but it's kind of not super practical. At least if you want to do a road trip, you need to stop, like you need to use the bathroom, you need to eat. And if there are chargers, that's the perfect opportunity to do that. So yeah, I sometimes people's arguments for not getting an EV just kind of don't make sense, especially when you have had one and understand how it all works out,
Yeah, the range is a big one that we hear too. It's like, well, I'm going to wait. I actually had somebody comment on our channel recently. I'm going to wait till I can get 1,000 miles on a charge. I'm like, what ICE car does 1,000 miles on a charge? Your gasoline car doesn't do 1,000 miles. And then you hear a lot of, well, your range is worse in the winter. Yeah, so is yours.
Right.
In your ICE car. Your range is terrible in the winter too.
Yeah.
Especially here where your tires are spinning around all over the place. I'm with you, Kaz. I think we view it the same. A small battery with dense power. If I could go a couple hundred miles like you do in your Chevy Bolt, I'd be ecstatic. Ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah. And also once, at least around here, once charging infrastructure for longer trips gets more dense, I think that's just going to eliminate any need to want 1,000 miles. If I can charge up my car while I go eat, like I don't need 1,000 miles,
Yeah, right.
So do you guys have a daily commute?
Yeah, I commute from the couch to the refrigerator and back about 70 times a day. And
I go to the coffee pot and back. But
no, we're in the cleaning business. Before the last couple of years, the things that have happened in the world, we were window cleaners and we had like 60 customers every day. And we have a Ford Transit van for that.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we've migrated to office cleaning, but it's sporadic and it's all over the place. So we do use our Leaf for that, but it's not like a regular commute. So we don't have a regular commute, but we're not afraid to drive 70 miles a day in our Leaf.
Okay, so it kind of varies every day then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every day's a new adventure, Kaz.
And then do you have to do a lot of freeway driving generally for that, or?
Yeah, there's really no good way to get from the north end of our town to the south end of our town. From northern Grand Rapids suburbs to the southern, which is where most of the work is, the business district down there, a couple of suburbs, Kentwood, Wyoming. So the only real way is right down the highway, 131 it's called, north and south. So yeah, we do quite a bit.
From your story about your first drive with your Leaf, did you get range anxiety, Sarah? It sounds like Chad, you were whatever with it.
Yeah, I definitely did. Yes, because he's driving and I'm reading the manual and it's telling me these different levels that it's the different actions the car is going to take if the battery gets low enough. And at one point it says it's just going to have like this turtle graphic. So that's what we call Turtle Town. And I keep telling him, we're going to Turtle Town. We're going to be in Turtle Town. And I'm not sure the car recovers from the manual. It sounds like if you hit that, that's it. Your car's just a turtle. It's done. So I was, quite panicked.
So for me, I didn't have range anxiety, but I did have anxiety. Kaz, because how it goes. But one thing we learned is to use Google Maps and use the nav.
Yes.
And then you can measure with because the nav is outdated and it's really expensive to replace the maps and the Nissan Leaf. So Google Maps is good, but it's always going to be more efficient than the nav. But I need to know how many miles somebody else thinks I have to go other than the guessometer. Because if I don't know how many miles are left on some kind of credible source, then I'll have anxiety just guessing what the guessometer is going to tell me.
Well, then the other benefit of using Google Maps along with the onboard nav system of the car, because when we left the level 2 charger the first time, we put in on the onboard nav, because that would tell us, how much range we had and where to get there. But because that nav isn't updated, it didn't know we were going to hit a detour. That's where we learned put on Google Maps, because then also Google Maps will give you different routes. And now we're not looking for how many miles they are, for how many minutes they are, but for how many miles they are, because that's what we're measuring now. So if there's alternate routes, we need to know what's the shortest route in some cases. So it was really helpful to use both of those tools.
This segment sponsored by Google Maps.
Yeah.
I wish.
I know, huh? Have you guys ever used a better route planner?
No, I've heard about it. And I went online to look at it because somebody mentioned it to us. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it was going to be one more thing for me to get wrong most of the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you use it?
Do you use it?
I do for long trips.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's somewhat within the LA area, like places I'm familiar with, like I know my car well enough to know, even if I have a low mileage, like I know I can make it or not. But if it's like going to Vegas, I'll use that so I can see. It's pretty accurate, I've found.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it's pretty helpful if you want to do a road trip kind of thing.
Maybe I'll look into it again.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So have you guys ever run out of charge?
We had one situation where we drove to the lakeshore, and when we went to charge up to get home, which we didn't have enough miles to get home, that fast charger was not in service, and it was the only one that was there. So we had to find a level 2 charger in the area, and that was a bit of a challenge. And it turned what was supposed to be just a nice afternoon into we're pulling into home at 1:00 in the morning because we had to sit at a level 2 charger for hours when we're counting on being able to just fast charge and buzz home.
Well, we've never been completely out.
But we would have been.
We
could not have gotten home.
We were stuck.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
But there was a level 2 charger close enough that we could get to.
And we could sit in a parking lot in a middle of the night in a dark city.
But we've never been to Turtle Town.
We just dial 9 and 1 on the phone and just wait in case we have to push the other 1.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, I never got to Turtle Town with my Leaf. I came close, I think, because I used to have I had a dongle with, I don't remember what app it was, Leaf Spy, maybe.
Okay.
So you could see kind of more accurate stuff. And I think I had gotten it down to like 2%, maybe.
Wow.
Something like that. But the turtle still didn't come up. So I don't know when when does Turtle Town happen? I don't know. But I don't think we're going to test it.
Maybe it doesn't exist.
The leaf turtle is a mythical creature.
There you go. Yep. It is a legend.
It's just a warning.
Yeah. Maybe YouTube channel. So let's talk about that a little bit. Now, you guys, how long have you been Drive the Lightning?
Well, that's a good question. I think it was, obviously after we bought the Leaf, obviously. I think it's been a year. It's been just over a year. It's been quite an experience. We've learned a lot. We enjoy watching your YouTube channel, by the way, always have. And it's as you know, it's an interesting thing to do a YouTube channel, to put your face in front of whoever wants to look at you and to handle comments from whoever wants to comment at you. It's an interesting journey.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys that I was wondering since I found your channel. Are you guys Metallica fans?
Years and years ago, I was.
Who?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Because of Ride the Lightning, the old Ride the Lightning album. Oh, yeah. There's actually a podcast called Ride the Lightning. Have you ever come across that?
Yeah, I listen to his stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I found that afterwards. Okay. I don't know why we came up with Drive the Lightning.
Well, before we had our YouTube channel, when we were stuck at home and we couldn't go out and do our window cleaning work, we were looking for other things we can do to make money. And we started designing shirts, t-shirts and things.
Oh, that's right.
And
you designed that shirt before we had a YouTube channel.
We were looking for something where there wasn't tons of things in that. And obviously because it was an interest, we're like, well, what about shirts for EV drivers? And I'm like, driving and electric and lightning. And I said, what if I made a shirt that said Drive the Lightning? And I did. And we liked the sound of it.
I totally forgot that, but that's exactly how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys still sell your shirts?
Yes.
We do. Yeah. We sell on Etsy. We have a connected store to our YouTube.
Okay.
You know, the what's that called? Spreadshirt store.
Yeah.
We sell some things, but most of our sales are on Etsy at chadandsarah.com, just our names.com.
Okay, cool. All right, listeners, so go check out their shirts.
Nice plug, Kaz.
Yeah,
nice plug.
They don't want to go to, I mean, some people might want to go to Chad and Sarah, but that's a whole different niche.
It's all for grandmas.
It is.
It is.
Okay, well,
shirts for grandmas. Hey, that's a good thing. Your audience has grandmas.
It probably does.
They have plenty of grandmas. Everybody's got one or two grandmas.
You know? And if you're not a grandma watching, you probably have a grandma that might want one of their shirts. So
that's exactly it. Yes.
But our EV shirts aren't on there, so they won't find them there.
Yeah, you'll find those on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. All right. So, and how, like, is this a part-time thing? Like, do you guys do YouTube full-time? I think, you're still doing cleaning, I think you mentioned, right? So
yeah,
okay.
we do, we do the Etsy stores, we do the YouTube. The YouTube is getting close to, I mean, it does make money every month. I don't want to be like overblow it or undersell it, but a few $100 a month we do make.
It makes a
from
difference.
our YouTube channel.
And I like to say,
but we put in full-time work, Kaz.
I like to say that YouTube is our part-time job that we do constantly.
We spend all our time.
It's our 24/7 part-time job.
We got to get it in a box.
Yeah. I mean, man, if you listeners out there don't know how much work it takes to do a YouTube channel and try to do it like well, it's a ton of work. So yeah, and you guys, on average, I don't know, how many videos do you put out? At least one a week, right? More than that usually.
Yeah, we shoot for a couple a week, 2 a week. Sometimes like some news will break or something. As you know how that is, you want to hurry up and get it out to your audience. So sometimes that leads us to do 3 a week. Yeah, it's a lot, but we're planning bigger productions these days. Cool. We're trying to do more in-person stuff. When we started, it was just us like this talking about stuff we learned on the internet. So we're trying to be more hands-on. And
our real life experience. We think that's really what we started, was because we had such a steep learning curve with our first EV. We thought some people are going to benefit. They should not have to learn the hard way. They should get to watch us tell you in funny ways the horrors that we experienced.
Yeah.
But it's expanded now. So now we're putting more work into the video. So I'm assuming the video production is going to drop 1 a week, 2 a week max soon. Like, we're going to drive to Wisconsin and we're going to interview a garage that replaces Leaf batteries.
Oh, cool.
That's not something we're going to be able to do 2 videos that week. That production is going to take us our week. We drive to Detroit a few times. That's about 2.5 hours away to Detroit Auto Show to cover the Sonos Sion when they brought their car from Germany to Detroit for us to see it, which was really nice. So things like that we're doing more of. Get out of the cat. Another to the audience on listeners only. That was a cat appearance breaking the flow.
Friggin' the studio cat. But another unwelcome appearance.
we would like to do more quality, and maybe one good video a week is where we'd like to eventually land.
Cool. Yeah, I'm finding it's a constant changing thing of trying to figure out what you want to do, what works with the audience, all that kind of stuff. So
for sure.
I could talk about YouTube stuff all day because
I know. Well, we really like this direction you're taking, by the way. We're not trying to inflate your ego here, Kaz. This talking to different people about their actual cars they actually use in real life, that has so much value, because anybody can go read specifications and statistics. But when you talk to that young lady with the Tesla Model 3, this is someone who actually drives it every day, Yeah. And I think did you have a Model X on a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Tesla. I mean, that's what, for me and Sarah, as people who are EV enthusiasts, we want to know what it's really like. So this direction you're taking, I think, it's gonna do really well for your audience and for us as your audience.
Oh, thank you.
That kind of reminded me. I don't know if you're gonna want to roll back, but you asked about our decision to buy a Leaf instead of, say, a Bolt or something.
Sure, yeah.
And one of finance was a big factor, and factoring into that was we needed something that was used, but that had decent range. And a couple of years ago, I don't think there were used Bolts to be found, or if they were so barely used that it was the price of buying a brand new vehicle, basically. So it was challenging to find something that was used in a used car price range, but that was still practical, that had enough range that, wasn't 40-mile range.
Yeah.
We needed something a little more than that. So
Yeah. Listeners, subscribers, check out Drive the Lightning for sure. I love their channel. I think one of the things I love the most about you guys is just your personalities. You guys are fun to watch. It's just like a pleasure to watch you guys. So make sure you guys check out Drive the Lightning. So let me
Thanks,
go on.
Kaz.
That's nice.
that is
Thank you.
nice.
So let's go back to the Leaf. What are some of your favorite things about the Leaf?
Oh, Sarah, why don't you start?
Well, I love, of course, the little luxury things. I love my heated seats. It has both front seats are heated. It has a heating steering wheel, and in the winter, that makes a big difference. It's cool looking. It doesn't look like any other car. You don't pass our car. I know we get stares all the time, and sometimes I think, what's their problem? Then I'm like, oh, right, they don't know what this is. They're like, what is that car? I've never seen that before. And it's blue. When we were looking for cars, Chad kept finding ones that were black or white, and I was like, I'd really like to have a car that has some color, and ours is blue, and I really like that.
I think our last two cars were silver. They just kind of blended in with the gray skies of Michigan.
They just look like
Yeah,
clouds.
it's like
Cloudy.
depressing just to look out the window and see your car. You're like, I'm not going out there.
Yeah.
No good.
Blends in the parking lot. You can't find it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My Leaf was gray, and there were a lot of gray
I'm so
cars in
sorry.
general. So
Yeah.
actually, well, my car currently is gray also. But
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I'm so sorry.
having a different color car comes in handy, I think, in parking lots. Yeah.
I really like how well the Leaf handles. It's a snowy area here in the winter, and our neighborhood, we're at the top of a hill in our neighborhood. Like all streets go up to our street where we live, and then our driveway has a hill too. So every year we would get stuck at least once where we couldn't get home. Like we would leave to go to work, but we couldn't get the work truck or whatever car we were in back up the hill to our home because we're not plowed frequently in this neighborhood because we're not rich people. The rich people get plowed regular.
Huh.
No, just kidding.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's
I don't
like,
know.
"Oh, really?"
I have no idea.
I know. No, that's probably true, but I can't prove it. Anyway, but the Leaf has never gotten us stuck. The Leaf handles exceptionally well in the winter. And, we're old enough to know.
Yeah.
We've slid around on a lot of roads.
Yeah, one thing that's really helpful in the handling is I drive in B mode so that we get more of the regen braking, but also that's a little more aggressive when you take your foot off of the gas. It starts slowing you down, and that's important on icy roads because the last thing you want to do is touch the brake pedal if you're on ice because you'll lose control.
Yeah.
So being able to control the stopping of the car just by taking your foot off the gas is a big help in handling in the winter.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Any other favorites, or should we go to things that you dislike?
We love everything about that car.
I mean, another thing that we really like is that the rear seats fold down. So you get, with the hatchback, you have a lot of cargo space if you need it. And if you don't, you still
It's got a lot of, you could fit a lot of stuff in a Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah.
We do all of our cleaning equipment back there. No problem.
Yeah.
Vacuums, mop buckets, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we sound like fans, we're not fans. It's a thing. It's not a person, but we really love our Nissan Leaf.
No, that's great.
And you're going to get lots of comments like, where did you find these weirdos? Nobody loves the Nissan Leaf. Well, just do a thumbs up back to them and you'll be okay, Kaz.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It was a good car. I feel like if that Leaf had the range that my Bolt has, there kind of would have been no reason to switch, really. I think also for me, being in a more hot climate, though, the battery DC fast charging when it's hot kind of had its cons, I guess. But the Leaf was a great car and tons of room. Like I was able to fit like a full drum set in there, plus some other drums on top of that with room for a passenger too. So it's kind of deceiving how much space is in that car, I think.
It really is.
Yeah.
Really a good car.
Yeah.
So we like that.
Yeah. Do you have any dislikes for the car?
I wish it had more range. I mean, I don't dislike the range we have because it's what we knew we were getting, but it's just in general, I wish I had more range because we have friends in Southern Michigan, like we talked about, and I would love to be able to just drive to their house without having to stop to charge, but the Leaf doesn't allow us to do that, and that's okay, but
It's a perfect city car, but yeah, the range is prohibitive. The Chatamo port, nobody uses that. What is it, like the Volkswagen e-Golf, the Kia Soul, and the Leaf, I think are maybe the only North American cars that I know of that, and I'm not even sure about the other two. Yeah. But the Chatamo port, Electrify America decided they're not going to be installing those anymore. Right. It's going to be CCS. That's it. Yeah. So it really makes us worry about the future, because we would keep this car forever, but we will need to be able to access DC fast chargers. And if the whole industry is just going away from Chatamo, which they should, because it's huge and clunky and expensive and weird, then that's a bit of a bummer. But it'll still be a great around town car. Plug it in at night and you're good.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't looked into this, so I don't know. Does a Chatamo to CCS adapter exist?
It does not exist, and it has to do with the way it communicates with the car. The Chatamo is a different beast than all the other ports. It's completely different. So I had a fantasy that would happen. It would CCS to Chatamo, no big deal. But apparently it's extremely difficult to make that happen. And as far as I know, as of yet, it has not been made to happen.
Okay, well, good to know. Good to know. Let's see. So if somehow by evil magic your Leaf just disappeared overnight, would you get that car again? Sounds like you probably would.
If we could get the same car, I would think we would.
But there are more choices now than when we bought the Leaf. So we would have to take a very serious look at a used Bolt, like you had. Do you have the EUV or the Bolt EV?
I have the EV. I have a 2017, so it was the first year.
Okay.
Yeah, the first year.
Yeah, we would take a very serious look at that, because the range is just so much better, than the, and because it had those really cool fires with the LG batteries.
Yeah, it keeps you nice and toasty in the winter.
Right, but but what it really means is that once they're done with all those recalls, you're going to have the best battery ever. There's no way GM's going to go through that again.
Yeah, right.
So I promise you'll never hear of another Leaf catching fire because of a battery. Bolt because of a battery. Because they're not going to go through another $3 billion, So I love it. A big mistake like that, I love those. Those are buying opportunities. There's a recall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about that for sure. Yeah.
But that might be the one car we would consider heavily, and a Leaf would be on in the newer Leafs, 2018 and up. I don't like those. They look like a Prius to me.
To me, they look like every other Nissan. Like I can't tell the difference between a Versa and the Leaf. They just kind of look the same.
Yeah. And that's not cool.
Yeah.
Same as lame.
Yeah. We like our unique looking Leaf. So.
I like that. Same as lame. Do you guys have a t-shirt with that? You might want to do that.
Well, we will by this afternoon, Sarah.
There you go.
Get to drawing.
Yeah. And then let's see. So would you ever go back to gas for your personal car?
No chance. No chance.
Like he said, we have a transit van for work that we have used, and it is gas, and it is a thorn in our side. And
it just sits, really. It's for storage.
We use it as little as we possibly can, and then once in a while, if we have to take our giant ladder, then we have to put it in the truck. But
for any of your audience that hasn't done this yet, when you drive an EV, as you know, Kaz, it's a completely different experience than driving a gasoline car. Yeah. It is by a factor of 10 more fun to drive than a gasoline car. And we've driven a lot of them. Our Nissan Leaf is quicker than the muscle cars of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
A lot of them, it's not even, it's the slowest EV, maybe, but it's still faster than your gasoline car, audience. Sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and one thing we learned with our Leaf and talking about range anxiety, when we first got it, we had it in eco mode, and we drove it in like the doggiest possible, most boring driving mode. But we realized once we got used to it, now we don't drive it like that anymore. Now it's fun to drive because we don't put it in eco mode unless
don't ever do that, Kaz's audience. Don't ever put your Leaf in eco mode. It's like walking with your shoes untied.
Yeah, it's so much more fun driving it. I usually drive in B mode because I do like to capture more of the regen energy than you get in the driving in the D mode. But D mode is like pretty quicker, but B mode's quick enough for me. I can take that. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
But that was a big difference in the enjoyment of driving the car, was taking it off eco mode and putting it Ooh,
Yeah.
and one
That
of
was
the other
Sarah
ones.
trying to rip my headphones out of my ear.
Gesturing too much. Sorry.
No, I know. Putting it in D is kind of like your sport mode, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
you've
That's
been
the closest
driving
we
and you're like,
got to sport
Yeah.
mode. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
just
fun.
drive.
Woo!
I used to do that too. I was the same. Actually, I was always in the eco mode, and then every once in a while, when I wanted to be sporty, I would put it in D, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is
Woo!
peppy
It's
car."
a much more fun
fun.
car.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
neat, it's a neat car. Yeah.
cool.
And,
Let's see.
and
So,
they made so many of them, Kaz. So your audience, if they want to try getting into an EV and they don't need to go more than 70 miles a day, they could buy a used Leaf today. I mean, they're everywhere.
yeah,
That's not like that with every EV. You can't just find the EV you want all the time. But a Leaf, you can find it every day.
And this segment sponsored by
This
Nissan.
segment sponsored by Nissan.
Not.
They should send us some money.
They
shouldn't they?
should. Yeah.
seriously. No, I mean, hey, if you really enjoy your car, then we should let everyone know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see. So I think we're wrapping up here as my cat is just trying to steal the show.
She's had enough. She's had enough of your
Yeah.
divided attention, sir.
I know. Are there any other things you want to talk about, EV wise, YouTube wise, just here at the end?
Well, I might just say that the YouTube community that centers around electric vehicles is a very helpful tool if you're shopping for an electric car.
Mm-hmm.
We watched so many videos before we bought the Nissan Leaf that when we got in it, we knew how to drive it. We had at least an idea of what we were doing. We didn't have to test drive it. We didn't have to think about it. So we would encourage your audience, if they're looking for a used or any EV, go to YouTube, watch some of these videos, these reviews with real people that actually drive them, like you're doing on your channel, Kaz. That's gold if you're
Yes.
shopping.
Yep, that's where the real information is. One other note with our buying experience, it wasn't a problem for us because Chad had the foresight to say to the salesman that we were working with online, can you make sure to plug that in? Because we're coming to pick it up and we want a full charge. And he said, hey, that's a good idea. So if Chad hadn't said that, we'd have been sitting at the dealership waiting for it to charge for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Because they don't think of it all the
Yeah.
time. So sometimes you're more educated than the dealership you're buying from about little things about EVs, like, charging them.
I guess all the time, you're going to go in with more knowledge than the dealer. Not their fault. This is all new and a big change to them that, it's going to take them a while to catch up.
Yeah. I had the same experience. I mean, the last time I was in a dealership was 2017, but same experience. I knew more about the car than they did. And it was kind of weird because they usually try to sell you on stuff and they kind of didn't. I feel like they either didn't have a lot of info or they were giving me wrong information, one or the other.
Mhm.
Hopefully it's changed because it's been 5 years since I've been in a dealership, but
I hope.
I don't know.
hope.
I don't know.
We had I had the experience. Chad was actually working in our work truck, and I went through a car wash where I found out that our rear windshield wiper doesn't work. So I thought, well, I'll just run through the dealership and see what it would cost to, get an estimate on what it would cost. And they were like, well, it might be the motor. That happens on Nissans historically.
Yeah.
He said, but I don't know if your car's all electric, if it's an electrical problem.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
I see.
It's a wiper motor. I don't care if it's powered by propane. It's the same wiper motor. But I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Sarah did that.
So anyway, we go to the other Nissan dealership now.
And
We
even
need
that
something.
Nissan dealership, which shall remain nameless, when we went there to get our software update, the dealer or the mechanic said, now, Chad, with these batteries, you are never supposed to fast charge them.
Oh,
Don't do it. You're not supposed to do it. I'm like, well, what did they put the port there for?
right.
And then he says, and also, you have to run these batteries all the way down to zero once in a while for the battery. So I'm just nodding. Okay, give me my keys. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta go. This is all the time I have allocated for nonsense today. So nice guys, and again, it really isn't meant as a knock. It's their industry is changing underneath them.
Yeah.
Yep.
What if all of a sudden, Kaz, they told you and your band from now on it's country music or nothing. You have to
Right.
adjust today.
Yeah.
That's what they're going through.
Four times out the window. We're
Yeah,
doing
no
something
4-4
totally
time.
different now.
Yeah.
It's called jazz.
Yeah.
You put the drumsticks down and get a banjo. That's today.
Yeah. There you go.
That happens today.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. For
That's
sure.
what they're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we feel for them, but they don't know a lot about.
They should say they don't know
EVs
though
yet.
instead of just, but
Yeah,
that's okay. That's
I
a
agree.
learned.
Maybe
That's something
they-
you have to learn.
Yeah, maybe they don't know. They don't know.
Oh, that's a good one.
Good. Ooh, good
Make
one.
that t-shirt. I don't know
There
what
you
I
go.
don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know what I don't know.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end of this. This is, I think, been the longest podcast, but also I think the most fun because you guys are the first like EV enthusiasts to have a channel about EVs. So I feel like we could probably talk about this stuff for days, but maybe we'll have you on for a part 2 if you ever get another car or want to bring your mom on for her BMW.
She's very
She's a
enthusiastic
live
and
character,
super
yeah.
fun. And if she can talk for days about her i3.
Oh.
She
Oh, nice.
loves it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Sarah and Chad from Drive the Lightning, thank you guys so much for taking the time to come onto my podcast and talk about your Leaf and your YouTube channel. My subscribers out there, be sure to check out Drive the Lightning. They have a great channel. If you're listening to the podcast, go on YouTube as soon as you get home and check out Drive the Lightning. Yeah, thank you guys so much. And I'm sure we will see you in the future in another video.
For sure, Kaz. Thank
you
you.
so
Nice
much, Kaz.
chat. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.